Thank you so much, Mr. John B. Welcome to Sheen Magazine.
Thank you for having me. Absolutely.
Thank you. So you had a birthday recently.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
What did you do? Did you do anything exciting?
I went and got a vitamin infusion for my birthday. Super exciting.
Well,
I hooked up
hey,
to an IV and infused my body with good stuff that makes me healthy.
well, good. We want to be healthy, right? So,
That's right. That's right.
yes,
That's what at 51, that's what you want to do is pump your stuff, pump yourself up with the good stuff instead of the
yes,
bad.
yes. So I guess you didn't have cake then. If you were doing that, you didn't have any cake.
No, no cake, no cake,
All right. Well, that's okay. That's okay. That's acceptable. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start. Before we get to the core questions, I want to ask you some questions, a getting to know you type John B. Okay. Question: do
Okay.
you
Oh
cook?
yeah.
So you
Yes,
grill, you cook.
I'm the
Okay.
grill. I'm the grill guy. I like the fire. I like now that's a fire. Like I need I need flame.
Okay.
And it's like I need that smell of the charcoal, or whatever the type of different types of woods, the mesquites and the cherry woods or the apple woods or the oak wood. I mean, it's just so there's just something that's just so spiritual about that. Even just getting the coals ready for the whatever you're about to put over the fire. It's just something so special about that with the music playing. Come on now. That's the name of the game for me.
Yes.
That's like the
Yes,
number
sir.
one. If I could spend my life doing one thing, besides making the music, it would be cooking food outside, grilling to the music.
Okay.
That's the next my next favorite thing to do, you
Very,
know.
very interesting. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Now, men love their cars. Men love their cars.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
What do you, what do you like? I mean, do you have a favorite or
I'm not much of a car person in terms of like it being a necessity for me.
I
I'm
see.
I put a lot of my money into my equipment in my studio. So like mixing boards for me are the most expensive mixing console, I will say, would be the most expensive thing to compare to a car, equivalent to a car in terms of value. Um, yeah, I mean, the last thing that I just bought for my studio is a Neve 16 channel 5088 console, and it's $130,000 for that thing. So it's like the cost of a car, but it's all going into the music and the quality of the music, the sound of everything that I record through that thing is uh is the equivalent of what it was to pull up to the big studios back in the day and see those boards and God just hope one day I could own one of those things. And so now getting to come full circle and have that, in my house is pretty special. And that supersedes the need for a car or whatever.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, cause that's
Okay.
really what I'm putting in the music, really. It's giving back to the music.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. All right. So a bit of history about Mr. John B. Okay. So you're a Grammy nominated accomplished musician, noted songwriter and producer with several gold and platinum records under your belt. And it's your 30th year anniversary of your RIAA certified gold debut album, Bonafide, which
Yeah, I
features
don't I,
Grammy. Yeah, which features nominated Grammy, which features Babyface.
mhm.
Okay. Now, Someone to Love. Oh my gosh, beautiful song, beautiful song,
Thank you.
beautiful song. How does it feel? I mean, 30 years. I mean, does it feel like yesterday or does it feel like 30 years?
It feels like 30 years.
Okay.
It does. There's some times where I want to get on stage and not sing that song. You know,
Okay.
there is. And it's not the lack of respect that I have for what that record is. It's just it's
Right.
been so long of singing that I take it
Right.
take back to like 19 and signing my first record deal. And the only real record deal that I ever signed. I
Okay.
mean, I signed other deals, but that was
Right.
pretty much the deal that sowed my the rest of like the last 30 years that you've seen. That
Mhm.
was the beginning of it, and it's it's taken 30 years to come full circle with things. So it's interesting to have that dynamic with that particular song, being a duet with my absolute hero, in the game, but nevertheless, the person that I was evidently going to be, connected to forever, in terms of just the way that things worked out, and it's been sort of like a gift and also a burden at the same time to hold up all these years, because it's been a lot of, there's a lot of hidden pain, a lot of hidden
Mhm.
sort of like, sort of like unspoken emotions
Okay.
that I've never
Okay.
really come out, I've never really spoken on, until 30 years now. We're coming full circle. I feel like it's a good time to speak on some of this stuff, but Someone to
Okay.
Love is definitely the beginning of a relationship that would be something that would last
Mhm.
30 years now, and we could
Mhm.
talk about and be like, damn, like we didn't know it was going to be all this, did we? And but now I'm 51 now as a grown man, and if I'm gonna sing that song with the same conviction that I sang it when I was 19, when I recorded it,
Okay. Yeah.
and it's gonna take a lot of humility. You know what I mean? It's gonna take a
Yeah.
lot of, and it does, and it's also a lot of pride and honor that is involved in terms of like when you have an opportunity happen to you that is just so profound that there's nothing that anyone can say that can diminish the importance of that. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. So that a lot of joy and pain goes into singing that record. You know
Mhm.
what that record represents for me now, 30 years
Mhm.
later.
Mhm. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. You have to be honest, how you feel. So thank you so much.
Well,
Thank you.
that's what it is about 51. It's really about being honest. If I'm gonna have
Yes,
a forum to speak,
absolutely.
I feel like let's talk about stuff that's on my heart rather than
Exactly.
stuff that I feel like you want to hear. You might not want to hear that, but nevertheless, that's my truth, and
Yeah.
that's what I want to tell you right now. About Someone to Love, and how still proud I am as a
Mhm.
man to sing that song, but
That's good.
nevertheless, the challenge that it takes, and why, as a man, you know, that song represents something different to me now than it did
Hmm.
when I was 19. Because
Hmm.
I was just singing a record, that I thought was a pretty record. But now, Someone to Love is really kind of like the theme song for sort of my whole career,
Life, yeah, yeah.
it really is, because it was someone taking a chance on me and giving me
Yes,
a shot. And that was Mr. Babyface, Uh, and so that's something that just lasts forever.
yes. Well, congratulations on your 10th studio album. Okay,
Yeah,
Waiting on You. Okay,
yeah, thank
featuring
you.
R&B heavyweights like Tank,
Right.
Donnell Jones, Alex Isley, and rapper Rick Ross. Okay,
Mm,
now that's an amazing collaboration. That's good.
thank you.
I want to ask you, how was it? I mean, was it a smooth collaboration or was it hard? Because I'm sure you all are busy. Was it hard to, get together with your schedules?
Everyone, the timing of, you know, everything was so profound, because it was just the perfect timing. The universe just made all of these things happen. And I'm so grateful to have had that opportunity to run into Tank and be on his podcast and chop it up
Mhm.
with him. And first, just kind of reunite, because we had worked together before and we're good
Mhm.
friends and everything, have a history together. But it was a good reunion of sorts, because we hadn't seen each other in a while. And I wanted to bring him
Right,
up to date with what I had been working on. So I was like,
right.
this is what I plan to come out with, man. This record is called Waiting on You. I just want to tell you, man, you're big inspiration for me over the years. So I hope you hear, the vocal growth and like the influence, because I definitely feel like you're part of my growth, as a vocalist. So maybe you'll hear this, this record. Maybe you'll hear some of that in this record. And
Mhm.
when I played it for him, he was like, "Yo, that is like another they don't know. I think that, man, I got to be on that." And I was like, at first I thought, okay, maybe he's just giving me a good thumbs up, and that's cool enough. But then he pulled up to the studio and actually followed through, and put the piano on it, man. He sang on it. He didn't really want to change anything. He said, "You body those verses." So, he's like, I just want to add a bridge to this. And he added that R&B tank bridge that's just epic, and it's just took it to another level. And for me, as a fan of his, man, it just made me smile, a grin from ear to ear, just thanking God for those type of, another one of those collaborations that is just, you can't bottle that type of, that type of magic. And if you are gonna sort of encapsulate it, what better way to do it than in a song, and capturing our energies together as two artists, really just giving our all to a record. And then he came through and shot the video with me. So I mean, the song speaks for itself. It's one of the best records I've written in a long time. And also, this song was a song that I wrote like in one instance. It was very much like a train of thought where I sat down and I just wrote it like a couple hours, and I can't remember the last time I wrote a song that quick.
Mhm.
Usually it's like I'll come up with the hook and I'll let that hook kind of marinate and come back to it and build, very kind of like um, it's here and there. But this was like definitely a train of thought that I followed through. So I called the album Waiting on You. And we were so blessed to have like Rick Ross be another, a collaboration I was able to, make happen with my wife and I. We, basically came into, close proximity to Rick Ross. And it was just a matter of like, hey, can I pull up the studio? I got some ideas. And he said yes. And so I came to the crib, and his crib, amazing house in Atlanta, and estate, I would say. And yeah, just like chopped it up for a second and just like let him know what my ideas were. And he concurred about everything. We were mutual fans of each other. And it was a really, really cool, conversation of like, man, this is kind of something different. I'm not hitting you with the, straight down the fairway. This is something a little more exotic. I kind of want to go like a little worldwide type of genre, Afrobeat influence, little, R&B, but it's kind of for the world type of R&B. And so when he heard the track, he just was like, "Yeah, I'm with this." And 2 weeks later, he sent me back his vocals with the Maybach music on there. The drop of the Maybach music on there, and that, as a fan of his, that was huge for me to get that, um, to see him complete the vision.
Right.
Uh, I produced the track and everything, so to see the whole thing kind of start off as an idea, be like, I think Rick Ross will sound good on here, and then get it to him and actually get it done. It's manifestation, man. It's a beautiful thing. And Alex Isley is on the album as well, from this
Mhm.
this new generation. She's the lineage of Ernie Isley, which is amazing, R&B royalty in my world. That's he sort of represents like the forefathers of R&B guitar, from the record that I had in mind for her. And I was already sort of a fan of her music at that point because I've heard her voice. And it's like, man, we got to work together. So a mutual friend brought her by, and she didn't want to change anything about the record that I have for her. She was just like, I love it. And as soon as she started singing, I was like, this was made for you. It's like I sang the song originally in falsetto in the range that I wanted her to sing it in. And but it was originally my voice. And when I played it for her, she just got it. And it fit her tonality so much more. And when you, as a writer, as a songwriter, when a song finds its real home and it sits in a way where you always meant it to sound like that, it's just like that there's nothing more fulfilling as a songwriter, a producer, than to hear that final version of what you had in your head happen, you
Absolutely.
know. And yeah, so she completed that dream, and you got to hear that record. It's called Show Me. The last feature is Donnell Jones, and Donnell Jones, come on, speaks for himself in terms of you know the music that he's made, you know,
Yes.
and what his contribution is to R&B. I'm a huge Donnell Jones fan. I feel like he's a big part of my era and a
Mhm.
big part of the sensibility of like men who aren't afraid to show their emotions and
Mhm.
really be open and sort of express their emotions with records. And a couple of records that he really penned are really emotionally like some of the most profound R&B for my era, I will say, you know. And so I knew he was gonna feel where I was coming from in
Coming
terms of
from.
record understand
Right.
because we're both sort of like seasoned vets in this game, and you know we both know what we're doing. But I think it's a matter of like saying something a little different, you know, at this point. Like I know you know the song says on the hook, I basically say, even if you think you've seen the best I have, you know, I'm basically willing to do everything I have to do to make you understand that you ain't seen nothing yet. You know, it's like the best is yet to come
Mhm.
type of joint. And I think that really resonated with him, you know, because we met each other at the Soul Train Awards, you know, after, you know, we've seen each other on the road before, but basically we were both being honored on this night. And this is 2000, I think, 18, 2018. And we were both being honored. And it was our turn to perform. And both of us are sort of nervous backstage. We're kind of like, you know, kind of coaxing each other into the moment of being like, let's have fun with this, man. These people are here to celebrate us, you know? And both of us rocked that night. I mean, I want to say that's probably my best performance I ever remember myself ever doing that's been recorded was that night at, you know, the Soul Train Awards and being honored like that. And then bringing up my boy Donnell right after me. So
Mhm.
I kind of was like, man, we got to make this a song, man. You know, after the show, I was like, I got this record called Understand. You got to hear this. And so I sent it to him, and he's like, man, I'm on it, man. I'm recording it. So he sent me back his verse of what I, you know, had in mind for him, man. And so the record is just this, it's one of my favorites on the album. And
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think that it represents like the 90s R&B well in terms of the
Yeah.
style that sort of was really popular in the 90s that we were both on, but with some sort of like futuristic elements about it too as well to bring it up to date. You know?
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh,
And
okay.
I also heard and which is beautiful. Just to
Thank
let you know, I saw the video and heard, of course, and I also saw the song with Donnell,
you.
and I saw the video rather and heard the song. So both beautiful.
Thank
And
you.
yes, and also I like your suits, how you dress
Thank
in the video.
thank thank you. Yes. My
Yeah.
wife is my stylist, so she's got
Okay.
it
Very
dialed in a real way. I mean, even with my shades and yeah, all of my accessories, like
okay.
she's
Good.
just, you know, it's very cool to grow old with grace, you know, in the sense of I never had this much sort of insight into my fashion.
Yeah.
And it never really made this much effort to really pay attention to how the music is dressed up, you know, or to dress up sort of for the music. And but I feel like I've come into my own, you know, after doing this. This is my 10th album, and
Yes.
we've been through a lot of different fashion periods and different, you know, things were, you know,
Mhm.
uh popular through the years. So it's really
Yeah.
nice to come into our own, you know, in terms of feeling comfortable with fashion and feeling
Mhm.
comfortable with expressing ourselves
Mhm.
in different ways. I feel that are sort of like innovative and also fearless in a way where I don't really see anybody else really making the effort like that, you know. It's like I'm not trying to throw shade or anything like that, but I just feel like if um if we're gonna really represent R&B R&B has always been very slick, and I grew up off of groups like Guy and Jodeci and and Tony, and New Edition, and these all these groups are very slick and beautiful, like the way that very handsome, like very well put together, you know. And so that's been the tradition for me of R&B.
Hmm.
um, and I wanted to keep that alive with what I'm currently doing, and sort of pay homage a little bit to some of the stuff that I grew up off of, and it has always been sort of like representative of R&B music.
Right.
So we have to really differentiate ourselves from the pop and from the other genres. If you really want to be an R&B artist
Right.
right now, you need to, show up with the R&B venues,
Right.
show up, in the R&B, discussion rooms, the podcast, the radio stations, the clubs, the bars, the whatever, wherever the R&B hip hop stuff is happening, that's where you need to be.
Hmm.
And if you're not there, then evidently, it's marketed to look like you're there. So, I mean, for me, I'd just rather be there, what I mean, and show
Yeah.
up and have the right shit on, and excuse me, the
Yeah.
right stuff on, and
Yeah.
and it just, and sort of lead the way for those who, light the way for the, in the dark places, man, light that light, and and keep it shining for those who are afraid to shine their light, because
Hmm.
there's definitely people watching and people paying attention.
Definitely, definitely. And I think from day one, honestly, from day one, watching you, you've
Right.
represented
Thank you.
looking good with, like I said, the way you dress and everything. So it's
We
good.
gotta honor, the music,
Yes.
with the way that we, have been able to keep ourselves together, but I will say that I grew up being heavily influenced by music that was well dressed. One of my favorite bands growing up was Duran Duran, and they always, and still to this day, still continue to have such a consistent, well, groomed sort of look, and
Mhm.
I've always appreciated their fashion efforts that they've made through the,
Yes.
Babyface. He's another one who is just always maintained such a
Hmm.
pristine, sort of smooth,
Hmm.
image. And if you're gonna be of that caliber and represent something of that same caliber, then I feel like you should personify that same thing and really
Yes.
make that same kind of effort.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Very good. Okay. So I do want to talk about your tour, Pick Me Up Tour, which
Yeah.
started back in April of this year, at the Fillmore in Silver Spring, Maryland, and with stops in major cities across the United States. You also have a single out and a video, Chosen,
Yes, that's the
with
current. Yes.
Jessica, yes, Jessica White. Okay, you're a
Yeah.
busy man. Just go, but that's good.
Yeah. Well, this year has been wonderful. We haven't really
Good,
stopped, have we? I
good.
mean, we just when we put the album out, was like, this is the album, but we have all of these visuals, these videos that we've done.
Hmm. Hmm.
And they're all sort of like very, much the commercial for the song, the video is. It's sort of like it's the way to really stamp it and to tell you, like, we really are back now, y'all. That we're not just putting music out for you to ask you, will you please like it? No, it's like, this is what it is right now. This is what it is to have, to be independent and
Yes,
to make your ideas into movies, and to make your songs into little mini movies
right.
and put those out now. We have that option. Videos cost a whole lot less than they did in the 90s, man. Because
Yes,
we paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to
sure.
do
Yeah.
things that we could do now for, way less.
Hmm.
We could fly drones as opposed to helicopters or whatnot. So yeah, no, I mean, it's been a beautiful thing to have so much creative control though
Hmm.
over a project like this project has been, and like a lot of the previous independent albums that I've done for the last, consecutive albums. I mean, it's been really a lot of independent records that we put out. This is my 10th album, like I
Yes.
said.
Hmm.
But I will say that the beauty of where we are now, with the whole visual age that we're living in, is that, people want to see the visual of it. They want to sit there and look up, look at the song and sort of watch the video and see it all kind of happen all at once. So to be able to do that for as many songs as we've been able to do that for this album is definitely different than any album I've ever sort of done. We have like a documentary that we did for this album. It's called The Story of Waiting on You, which is the album, and it's just
Okay,
basically
right.
behind the scenes of everything from the videos to recording and mixing the album, um, and performance and what the touring has been behind the album. So it's kind of like a cool little mini documentary for the diehards out there to check out, man.
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
Um, but then a lot of things were went into also how are we going to promote this album? What are we going to do different to make this album sort of like mean something after 30 years of doing this? What are we going to do now? So I thought it'd be clever to do a cruise. And so on Valentine's Day, we're going to do, uh, well, Valentine's weekend, we're going to do a cruise from Long Beach to Catalina, and also and Ensenada, Mexico. Come right back. And
yes,
I'm perform on
yes.
thing.
Up close and personal.
Yeah, up close and
Yeah,
personal.
yes. Okay,
Cruises.com. You can get your
yes.
tickets, but definitely if you haven't reserved your rooms for that, definitely want to get that right now because that's going to be something very, very sexy for my fans that want to have that sort of engagement with me at this point. And after 30 years, man, let's
Of
get on
course,
a boat together and let's
of
go cheers.
course,
All right, let's go
of
cheers
course.
under the sunset.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I'm walking around the boat with my family. We chilling, man. I'm 51. I'm too grown to play the celebrity role. Like I'm well seasoned with this now. So
Right, right.
I feel very comfortable around my fans and very much indebted to my fans in the way that I'm I'm honored to take pictures. I'm honored
Good.
to meet people's acquaintance and to have little discussions and answer questions. Nevertheless, perform. I'm gonna be performing as well. So, but we're gonna really be celebrating the new album and really the last 30 years. Really is what it is. DJs
Mhm,
on the boat playing my music and whatnot, and it's gonna be a good time. So,
mhm. That's good. When did you realize that you really made it? I mean, when you had your foot in the door, when this
well,
first started, when did you
well,
realize that?
when I met Babyface, I really knew that I had reached exactly what my dream. That was my dream. I told
Okay.
people, I said, I want to work with Babyface. I want
Mhm,
be the next. I want to be sort of like the male counterpart for Tony Braxton, or sort of the male answer to what Tony Braxton was for Babyface.
okay.
Because Tony Braxton came out and I was just like in awe of her
Mhm,
artistry. I just was using her as an example for
mhm,
sort of what I saw for myself as an artist. If I was going to be an artist, I was like, wow, working under Babyface or with Babyface and allowing him to sort of shape the artistry because I had my own production and my own writing, but it was so much influenced by him and Jimmy
mhm,
Jam, Terry Lewis, and the R&B of that time.
mhm.
I felt what better of a person to come help me show me really how to do the artistry thing. If
Right.
you want to do the artist thing, then Babyface, because he had done such an excellent job with Tevin Campbell and with Bobby Brown and with Johnny Gill, and I mean, just the list goes on. All my favorite R&B. So, getting to him and getting the songs that I had written and produced myself
Mhm.
to him and have him say, "You did this. This is you singing. This is you producing this." And I was like, "Yeah, man, you're my favorite guy, man." He was really really impressed, and he wanted to sign me right away, and usher me into the deal that I got basically. Um, with him, Tracy Edmonds, and Sony. So yeah, that's kind of like where I knew I made it. Like the same way I came to Babyface with that willing heart of being like, what do I? Even though I could do it myself and I could do it on my own, what's it gonna sound like when you put the polish on my joint? That's the special thing, and that's what when you give a producer the chance to do that, that's the ultimate experience. You get to put your fingerprint on that artist. So that would definitely be my first choice as far as what I how I see myself.
Hmm.
but John B has been my tool for as far as bringing that forward to you guys.
Okay. Okay. So the Up in Personal cruise we talked about just now, you mentioned, so congratulations about that. I do have February 15th through the 19th from Long
Yes.
Beach, California to
Uh-huh.
Catalina Island to Ansana, Mexico.
Yeah.
And then I have the website. It says cabins can be purchased on www.upcloseandpersonal, okay, cruise.com.
Yes.
So,
Up
I
close
mean,
and personalcruise.com. Got it.
yes, yes. Well, congratulations with that. And
Thank you.
yeah, and I'm sure,
That's gonna
like
be
you
sexy. That's gonna be a sexy
said,
time. I mean, I would say from personal experiences, the sunsets that you see on those cruises on the ocean are epic. I mean, they're to be remembered for the rest of your life. And then the stars at night, on the ocean, it just hits different, man. And then my music, come on, man, what better way to
yes,
take in my
absolutely.
music than on
Absolutely.
on the seven seas? That's bon voyage.
Okay.
I
Yes,
mean,
yes,
do I need to
yes,
sell it anymore?
yes. Well,
No,
that's good.
it's gonna be a good time, man. And
Good.
after 30 years, it's gonna be nice to celebrate with my folks who
Good.
really show up and make the effort. So,
Yes. Yes.
let's do it.
I'm glad. That's good. That's good. I'm sure everyone will be pleased and happy. And like you said, you'll mingle with everybody, your
Oh
fans and
yeah.
everything.
Oh,
And
without a
that's
doubt.
good. That's a warm feeling and that's support. Their
And it
support,
does,
we're supporting, your fans support you and you support them. So
it's up close and personal. It's a nice opportunity after 30 years of being a part of people's lives.
yes,
To get the opportunity to say thank you, to take a
absolutely.
picture, shake a hand,
Yes.
give a hug. Um, and it's more than the music. It's more than selling a new album. It's actually saying thank you for the last 30 years is what
Yes.
it is. So for
Yes.
all
Well,
those
that's
who the music has meant that much to them,
hmm
I'm really looking forward to that
yes.
opportunity. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I am so glad that we got to speak. We got to meet.
That was
And
my pleasure. Thank you.
yes, and congratulations again,
Thank
and many, many more years to come, I'm sure.
you.
Okay.
This, yeah, we did. We're gonna come back with a new album very soon. I'm not gonna take 10 more years, y'all. I promise.